You don't like a particular policy or a particular president? Then argue for your position. Go out there and win an election.
Hey, bro, I've been looking all over for you.
Oh, mate, I've just been sitting here quietly working this machine.
Holy moly, you never played these things. You're way up, man.
No, that's true. Actually, the last time I put money down at a casino was in Monaco. I was on my way back to Cannes and stopped over for a couple of days. Well, that was a different life and a different universe.
You never run out of those stories, do you? Well, this is Vegas, and I got my butt kicked, which never happens. So I'm heading back to the room. I may have lost in this casino, but the good news is Vegas was a big win for us again this year, and it'll be good to get back up to the office with all these new contacts.
Yeah, that's true. But don't forget that we have the elections ahead, okay?
Why are you bringing that up here?
Oh, because I'm wagering that there'll be a big win for Liberty on Election Day.
I'm thinking you're right. Again, why do you bring that up here, though?
Hey, this is Vegas, mate. Everything's all about the odds.
You're winning a pile of money. I lost the pile. And now we're about to see an electoral wave like we've never seen in years. What are the odds of that?
Apparently pretty good.
It's time for Fully Threaded Radio.
It is Fully Threaded Radio, voice of the FCH Sourcing Network. This is the online on-demand Fastener podcast, where we talk about all things predominantly Fastener related. Welcome aboard, everybody. Great to have you back with us. Eric Dudas here, and I'm joined, as always, by the co-host of Fully Threaded. He's the one-man code slinger of the online fastening world. He's also a man who knows when to take his money off the table. He's Brian Musker. You doing all right, Brian?
I'm doing good. And I might be better at knowing how to take my money off the table. Not that I usually get that choice, okay?
Well, it was good to see you win out there. I've never seen you play before in all the years we've been going to Vegas, and congratulations to you.
Right. Yeah, I don't really go near the things. But after a day at the show, I just need to get somewhere quiet instead of in the noise that's all too noisy.
Yes, I understand that entirely. We're going to discuss that on today's feature segment, and the odds were pretty good for you. The odds were also pretty good for the election. We mentioned that, or we referenced it in the opening of the show today in a kind of a tongue-in-cheek way. Of course, we did that after the results were already known. And the odds are excellent that this episode 88 of Fully Threaded Radio is going to be another great one. We're publishing today on November 13th, 2014. Again, thanks for joining us, everybody. The feature segment on today's episode, as I just mentioned, is a recap of the Vegas show. That happened in October in Las Vegas at the Sands, and we have our annual semi-all-star panel joining us, this year comprised of, from Abbott Interfast, Mr. Bob Baer, from Solution Industries, Laura Vath, and current freelancer, although I don't think for very much longer, Bri,
right.
John Butler. And we can take a walk through the whole show from top to bottom, end to end, bell to bell. We're going to kick the show off, however, today, everybody, with a conversation with two gentlemen from Vertex Distribution. They're going to compare what's going on the West Coast versus the East Coast in terms of stainless activity and pricing. Joining us will be Mark Klosek and Dave Kjanek to give us a perspective on that. Plus, on today's Fastener News Report, Mike McNulty has the headlines. We're going to kick that off actually a little bit with one he missed. There was some big news out of Fastenal. We recorded just before that hit the presses, and we'll cover that a little bit for you folks. And in addition to that, you're not going to want to miss Mike McNulty's hard-hitting back page report. He's completely in his element in this environment, right?
Right. Though I did not see him at the show, I have to say. I know he was there, I just didn't see him.
Well, you had your nose right up next to the Fastener-tron for most of the thing, so that's understandable. But he and Tom Hutchison were there, and they had a corner booth this time around, so they were working pretty hard as far as I could tell. When they weren't in their booth, they were walking the aisles.
Yeah.
Odds are also pretty good that we've got some pretty good sponsors on the show today, too, right, Bri?
Oh, yes, you're right. The title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio are Stelfast and Trinity Hardware Headquarters. Stelfast, for service you deserve and people you trust, and Trinity Hardware Headquarters, for parts done right. Also sponsoring Fully Threaded Radio are Buckeye Fasteners, Fastenal, Volt Industrial Plastics, and Solution Industries, home of Solution Man. And the sponsor of the Fastener Training Minute is ND Industries, helping to train the fastener industry for a better future. And also we'd like to welcome as new sponsors our longtime business associates in Sequel Software, vendors of software designed specifically for the fastener industry.
Yeah, that's been a long time in coming. Welcome aboard to Bob Reynolds and all his crew. We'll be talking about that in upcoming episodes because we do have some developments to announce on that front. But welcome to everybody and to each and every one of you. Thanks for joining us on Fully Threaded Radio, episode 88.
Yes.
Get with us anytime at the email address ftr@fullythreaded.com. We're also out there on Twitter under the handle Fully Threaded. Be good to hear from you either of those two ways. Well, we made it back from Vegas, Bri. You're over your temporary case of screwbola.
Oh,
and
God. Yeah.
glad to hear during some of the recordings of some of our segments today, you didn't sound all that good, but putting the wrapping all on this one, I think the show overall is a good one, and we look forward to pulling the pin on it right after this. When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stelfast. Since 1976, Stelfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stelfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stelfast today through our website at www.stelfast.com and put us to work for you. Stelfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
Looking for package fasteners of all kinds? How about specials or unique parts that no one seems to carry? At Trinity Hardware Headquarters, we believe in parts done right, and our new catalogue is available online at trinityhardwarehq.com, featuring over 30,000 different types of fasteners available in package quantities, product kits, and assortments, including hundreds of hard-to-find parts as well as the most popular inch and metric sizes. Trinity Hardware Headquarters has locations throughout the Midwest and South, and over 400,000 square feet of warehouse space with 18 million pounds of fasteners ready to fill your requirements. Our featured products include number 3 and number 7 head plough bolts, grade 5 and grade 8 carriage bolts, hook bolts, tap bolts, and nuts and washers of all kinds, plus much more. Visit our website at www.trinityhardwarehq.com or give Trinity Hardware Headquarters a call at 888-232-1010. Trinity Hardware Headquarters, for parts done right.
Harry, how's your search for new software going?
We've looked at a lot of systems, some with the same old technology, and others didn't seem like they knew much about what we did or needed. We did look at one company, crazy name though, I think it was InSqueakWell.
You mean INXSQL? That's InSQL. That's what we use. We've become much more efficient, and we've been able to offer our customers more services, which makes us more competitive.
Yeah, Inkswell, that's the one. They seem to be the only company that really understood what fastener distributors do for a living, and I found it easy to use.
Harry, it's InSQL, INXSQL. You don't pronounce the X. We buy a lot from several master distributors, and their direct connect simplifies the whole process. When we need pricing and availability quickly, we just hit the F12 key.
If you don't pronounce the X, why put it in there? A friend told me they get great support from NXQuell.
Yes, with InSQL, our experience has been the same. Quality support. They know our business. And the best part is, no extra charges. With our old system, apparently nothing we called about was covered by support.
You know, Inkwell seems to be the right company for us.
They're called InSQL, INXSQL. Go to their website, www.inxsql.com, or call them at 877-446-9775.
First, there was fire, and man said,
"Fire good."
Then there was the wheel, and man said,
"Wheel good."
With the invention of the wheel came the need for fasteners, and man loudly exclaimed,
"Buckeye good."
Buckeye Fasteners, providing quality products since the dawn of man. The preceding message was brought to you by Buckeye Fasteners and the Ohio Nut and Bolt Company, proud fastener show sponsors of Old Rusty Bolt Beer, official beer of the Traveling Salesman.
Tell 'em Grog sent you. Ugh.
Hi, this is Ken Sanker with Blue Chip Engineered Products. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric back with you, reminding you that this is Fastener Industry supported talk radio.
Oh, don't tell me we're going to have a pledge drive. I've just got over one of those from Channel 4.
No, we're not going public, that's for sure. But
thank God. I couldn't stand that.
Yes.
I have to man the desks. No one would understand a word I said anyway, so it would be a bit of a failure.
Yeah, I don't know if we have that much firepower anyway. We don't have the phone bank to do it, but
right.
Maybe in a different lifetime, or maybe not.
Yeah.
We've got the conversation with the Vertex boys coming up as previously advertised. Hey, before we get to that, Bri, I saw a tweet fly by recently, had to do with the success of Twitter, of all things. And it came from WebPro News. I follow those guys. Chris Crum keeps me advised of everything that's going on out there with Google and Facebook and so forth.
Yep.
This time he was reporting on Twitter. This time he said, quote, "Twitter seems to have a real user growth problem and it's scaring away investors. Meanwhile, it's making changes a lot of its loyal users don't like. And it's sending less traffic to websites." So interesting times for Twitter. He goes on in the article to talk about what Wall Street's thinking about all this, and I guess their value fell about 32% year to date. So we'll have to keep our eye on Twitter. I don't know. What do they have, 300 million users or something like that? I mean, it's
probably more. But then again, if we measured everything by what Wall Street thought of it, life would be a bit dull, okay?
True, but it does make the world go around in a lot of ways. Anyway, despite those amazing numbers, we don't need that type of volume to keep FastenersClearinghouse.com a success.
Correct.
And a success it is. Again, we learned that at the Fastener show out there in Vegas. Thanks for stopping by our booth 1855, everybody. We had a great time meeting you and so forth. Got a lot of good feedback, and we're going to be talking about the Vegas show, again, as advertised previously, during our feature segment today. But getting back to the FCH Sourcing Network, get out there anytime you need a hard-to-find or oddball part, folks. The website is www.fastenersclearinghouse.com. It's a huge resource out there for you. Hope you're all using it whenever the need comes up.
Right.
What was the most common comment that you heard at the Vegas show from our users, Bri?
Actually, good question. The most common thing was people came by and they wanted me to search for B7M studs, actually, and I've had to start stopping to ask me, what's so special about these? Well, it's apparently something used in the oil industry and the drilling industry, I guess. It's something that people are having trouble getting. And I showed them how they could easily search for those on FCH, actually. They'd come up and say, oh, you can't get these. And I showed them a list of 40 or 50 companies that had them, actually.
Well, you hear mixed reviews from the folks who have hitched their wagon to the oil and gas industry. A lot of them are still thriving. A lot of them have kind of, stabilized, shall we say. But we'll be keeping our eye on that. We've got to get somebody on the podcast in the near future to give us a read on that whole ball of wax.
Well, we have a few companies, actually, a few members that are totally into that industry.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, they're still making money hand over fist in a lot of areas there. I'm just saying that there are also other forces at work, and we can get into that later. But
right.
Some guys are kind of cooling down a little bit from that. One guy who isn't cooling down is Bob Baer. He works at Abbott Interfast, and he joined us during our conversation to wrap up the Vegas show. But after we got done taping, he asked me if he could record a message on behalf of the MWFA, and we welcomed him to do that. Actually, if you're a member of any fastener association and you've got information to share, we hope you'll take Bob's lead and do something similar. But I was able to grab him and make a little recording, and why don't we play that right now before we get to our talk with Vertex, Bry?
Yep.
Thanks, Brian and Eric. Appreciate that. This is Bob Baer of Abbott Interfast and the Midwest Fastener Association. And I was asked by our good friend and current president of the MWFA, Rich Cavoto, to let everybody know that as of our last scholarship dinner meeting, November 6th, the MWFA has surpassed the $500,000 mark of scholarships given away to applicants. We're very proud of that, and we would like to continue that goal and hope to increase our membership, as all associations do, I'm sure. With that in mind, we have our holiday party coming up on December 11th that will take place at the Rosewood Restaurant in Rosemont, Illinois. And if you're interested in getting involved in the Midwest Fastener Association, you can visit our website, www.mwfa.net, and you can see all of our upcoming events and get involved. I will be back for the Vegas wrap-up. Thank you.
There you have it, Bob Baer, with the latest from the MWFA.
Right.
Are you heading off to the Gala Christmas MWFA Bash this year, Bry?
Of course. It's like most years now. I've got to work out what new item of clothing is Bruce Wheeler going to be turning up in.
Yes, you're talking about the ugly sweater contest.
Right. With lights, okay. And pictures.
Among other things.
Yeah.
Last year, of course, Mr. Wheeler of Star Stainless was the winner of the ugly sweater contest, and I'm pretty sure he was shooting to win because I saw photos of it, and I don't think there was any question. Although there were a lot of contenders, I have to say people did a great job with that.
Yeah. And it's a good cause because people bring toys. It's Toys for Tots, it's run by the Marines, so it's a whole good thing, okay?
Agreed. There's normally a mountain of stuff that the Marines walk away with, and all in all, a great cause and a great time. Hey, Bryce, so switching gears, we talked about a lot of things at the show this year, and one topic that also was raised quite a bit was the price of stainless.
Yes. Yeah, I had people walking past testing searches too, actually, for that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stainless on FCH, that's for sure. Fortunately for us, one of the great members of FCH has been Vertex Distribution. They've been with us for quite a while, and they know a lot about the stainless market. And we are joined now by two senior VPs of sales from both the East and West Coasts. And those gentlemen are Mr. Mark Klosek and Mr. Dave Kjanek. Hey, guys, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Wow, it's a nice...
Thanks for getting us both on the line at the same time.
Well, you tried to avoid that. Right.
Well, we aim to please, and I was talking to you, Mark, at the show a little bit, and you actually came up with the format for a conversation about comparing what's going on stainless-wise on the East and West Coasts. You, of course, the East Coast sales manager for Vertex Distribution, and I thought that was just a great idea. Dave, this is your debut on the show. Mark, you've been on with us before. Welcome both. And why don't we start with you, Dave? What's going on with the stainless market currently as you see it, and what's causing these shifts in price?
Well, the thing that we do at Vertex is we constantly watch the price of nickel. And of course, this year nickel has been as high as, I would say, close to high 8, down to the just below $7 per pound. And right now it's around $7.15, $7.20. Now that being said, nickel is primarily, it's 8 to 10% of the chemical makeup of stainless. However, it is the most expensive element in stainless. So therefore, as that rises and falls, it affects the raw material and subsequently the price of finished product. And again, being 8 to 10%, when you look at the finished product, it can be as much as 60% of the cost of a finished product. That's why we watch it closely, as do I'm sure our competitors. But again, right now it's running about $7.20. And that being said, if you compare that to previous years, for instance, in 2013, it was $6.80 a pound on average. But if you look back at 2011, it was up at $10.36 a pound. So it's quite a fluctuation in price. And it definitely affects the raw material, which in turn affects the finished product. So that's why we keep a really close eye on it.
Sure, makes a lot of sense. And Mark, what is this doing to the market right now?
Well, because of the fluctuation, the nickel price drives the raw material price, as Dave said. And because most of the stainless finished product comes out of the Far East, we look at the price of a metric ton of the stainless cold heading material. So as Dave was talking about the prices of nickel, it's also fluctuated as much with the raw material from, I think right about now, it's $2,700 a metric ton, and from a peak of about, I think, $3,200 a metric ton. And even though, nickel's the driving force, the raw material is what is used to make the finished product. So as it fluctuates, and Dave said we're constantly watching it and trying to buy at the right time. The last thing you want to do is buy 1 week and then 2 weeks later see the price fluctuate 10%. It's one thing if it goes up 10%. It's another thing if it goes down 10%. So you don't want to be overly top heavy when the market is high. And it's very hard to forecast and predict what nickel's going to do. I've been in the business a long time and been looking at a crystal ball, and it's been foggy the whole time.
So now tell me, what is governing the fluctuating price? Is it a problem of supply? Is it a problem of currencies?
Well, I think it's probably threefold. Number one is supply. Even though the LME warehouses are fully stocked right now, a lot of the investors are looking at this thinking, okay, with the weather in Asia and the Philippine problem with the mines there, that this particular stock of nickel is going to go down. Okay, other people are considering, well, China is slow, so on and so forth, so it's going to stay level. It all fluctuates based on the availability of the nickel. Now, of course, that being said, once that availability goes down, the price of nickel usually goes up. Mm-hmm. However, there's so many things in play these days. You've got a lot of people looking at oil. Price of oil is going down, so they look at metals. And they're looking at the metals thinking, okay, oil is going down, metals are going to go down. It's just all a whole different ballgame these days because it's real time, it's immediate. The price can dip, from $7.20 to $6.80 a pound overnight, and then there's a panic. Now that being said, once the price of nickel goes down, the raw material price goes down. At that point in time, once the raw material goes down, the mills in Asia, they make a decision that, it's not profitable to produce wire rod for fasteners, bolts, nuts, and screws. So then they shift their production to products that are more profitable, such as sheet. Then all of a sudden we have their orders, they don't take any new orders, and then we have a situation where there's not enough raw material, and then the price of finished product goes up again. So it's a vicious circle.
Sure. That makes perfect sense, Dave Kjanek. And we're going to come back to the oil subject in just a minute if we can. And there's news out there floating around right now about the Saudis dropping prices on crude, and that's having certainly waves. But there's a comparison certainly to be made with nickel and stainless and so forth. But let's bring it to our listeners' back doors, because we're primarily a show for Fastener Distribution, and Vertex Distribution is serving a lot of our listeners. So what does this mean for the local distribution company going forward? What do they seem to be doing in reaction to the current price moves, Mark?
Well, I think everybody's a little hesitant right now. We have seen the nickel price decline a little bit over the last several weeks, but it seems like the bigger issue right now is the ports on the West Coast. There's really it's not affecting the East Coast like it is out west, but again, to get a container in from the Far East gets into Los Angeles a lot quicker than it gets into New York. And I'll let Dave go into that because he's a little more familiar with it being right in his backyard.
Yeah. In the past, it was seamless. It was usually into Los Angeles about 15 days on the water, unload the container ship. We would get a delivery here in our branch in about 3 days after that. These days, it's taking 4 to 6 weeks in order to get a container delivered. Problem being,
God.
I'm sorry. Problem being, it goes back to about a year ago. There's a certain chassis that has to be available to bring in a 20-foot or a 40-foot container. A year ago, the steamship companies, Evergreen, Hanjin, so on and so forth, owned them. What they did, they wanted to get out of that. They sold them to a surplus guy who kind of has hung on to these things and is doling them out to the trucking companies that deliver the containers. So there's number one, a shortage of containers. Number two, the longshoremen out on the West Coast are working without a contract, so they're slowing things down. And what that's caused out here is the trucking companies are now charging what they call a port congestion fee, in addition to a chassis availability fee. So anybody that imports from overseas, they're paying door delivery. There's an additional cost of $250 per container to get them delivered, and they're all late. It's a huge, huge problem out here on the West Coast.
How long are the delays generally?
Generally, the worst delay we've had has been 8 weeks, but they're running right now about 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, well, that's tough news for a lot of people. Of course, from the FCH standpoint, it's it's not hurting us any, but that is really interesting information. Now, to make the connection with oil, is there not some kind of a connection there in terms of what's going across the freight lines with the abundance of locally homegrown, or I should say home extracted oil too?
Yes, well, as far as oil is concerned, there hasn't been too much of a delay. The one thing that we've also found too is anything that comes into the West Coast that goes on land bridge, which is rail to the Midwest or down to Houston or wherever it's going, the delay is not as bad as we found on local West Coast deliveries. Yeah, it's kind of I don't know what it is. I guess you would say counterproductive, but it's the real problem is on the West Coast. Anything, again, going land bridge across the country to the Midwest is probably only about a 3 to 4, maybe a week delay max. And obviously, because of the fact there's no chassis required, they just unload the container right onto a rail car and it goes.
And Mark Klosek, are you seeing the effects ripple all the way to the east? I know you, of course, are based out of Attleboro, Massachusetts, but you operate down in Florida, so you're kind of cruising up and down the eastern seaboard. Is it making its way all the way out there, or are there other issues that are ameliorating that?
Well, it's not quite as bad. The East Coast ports are working fine. It just takes longer to get a container, to the East Coast, whether you're going into Savannah or Boston or New York, than it does to go into Los Angeles or Long Beach, and that's really had an effect for that West Coast because they had the huge advantage of being able to get containers in a lot quicker than we did here.
Sure.
But the bottom line is it's kind of pushed deliveries back a little bit for everybody, whether it's the master distributor like us that's importing and the other people, or if it's the distributor that's put together a container to bring in product, to service their direct customers. It's kind of a ripple effect where it's affected everybody if they're going on to the West Coast.
At what stage has it become actually viable to think of shipping to the East Coast and then railing it across to the West Coast?
Well, a lot of people have tried to divert containers, but there's a cost involved, and of course, over the past few months, it's been done, so there's a jam, for lack of a better word, with that process. Now, interestingly enough, this problem is pretty much limited to Long Beach and the Port of LA. When you get up into Tacoma, it's not that much of a problem. So it's a very interesting situation.
Well, for people who snicker at that whole idea, Brian, I heard a company, a very large company, a former importer in this industry, actually raised that as a possibility when the prospect of an entire West Coast shutdown was raised a couple of years ago. You remember that, Brian? So,
yeah.
So you're not out there in the sticks when you raise the issue. Well, gentlemen, if people want to contact you, they can certainly do so through the website, and that is www.vertexdistribution.com. That's spelled VERTEX distribution.com. What's new with Vertex these days?
Well, Vertex, we are continuing stainless is the major part of our business, whether it be in the corrosion-resistant inch or the stainless metric. But we've also been expanding our alloy metric product offering. Several years ago, we brought in some new product lines. So we brought in blind rivets that we have, and a couple years ago, we brought in stainless steel hose clamps, trying to put together a package for all our customers and fill all the needs that they're looking for. We continue to do some manufacturing back east. It's very limited now from what it was years and years ago when the old Pawtucket manufacturing, I think, had 150 employees just in the factory. But now we just make silicon bronze bolts and nickel copper Monel hex heads.
One other, just briefly, the rivet line is not limited to stainless. It's all materials. We've also put in a line of security screws, which have worked out pretty well for us. And the brand new thing we've just put together is assortments, metric assortments, which obviously people can put their own company name on and market them that way too. So it's working out pretty well for us.
I'll be interested to see how that works for you, and good luck on all of that. People, again, can find more information about this or contact either Dave Kjanek or Mark Klosek through the website. That's vertexdistribution.com. Hey, before we wrap this conversation up, Mark, I was going to talk to you. We've talked several times at various association events and shows and things like that about barbecue. That's your bailiwick. But with people dropping like flies with the flu and other related types of things, respiratory sickness, flu, colds, and we're calling it screwbola, of course, around here. You had kind of an interesting home remedy that I'm certainly going to try if I ever am faced with that. And why don't you tell us what was that?
Well, the best part about barbecue, guys, is the beer, the jalapenos, and the tasting of the barbecue.
in that order, I presume.
Well, one of the keys I've always used when I barbecue is squeezing lemon on the outside of the barbecue meat because it keeps that tender and it keeps it from burning too much.
Yeah, well, that's a good secret to know. But coming back to your cold remedy, wasn't it something with papaya?
Oh, yeah. Papaya and lime is perfect for in the morning. And as Brian said, he likes the hot toddy in the evening. So I think the mixture between the two, there shouldn't be any flu out there at all.
Right.
AM PM relief from Screwbola, right? The papaya in the morning and the hot toddy at night. Dave, we know you're a single malt guy, so we have a lot to talk about when we next meet. And it was a pleasure speaking with you. Hopefully you guys will, again, do well with your new lines. And we thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you for the time.
Hey, mates. Keep well.
And we'll be right back with more Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric, they're online. Fastener Talk Radio Extremist. You're right on with Fully Threaded Radio.
Ah, Iowa. Field of dreams, Hawkeyes, corn, the only state that starts with 2 vowels, and the home of Trinity Hardware headquarters. What's so special about Trinity Hardware headquarters? How about the fact that offering 30,000 types of fasteners just wasn't enough variety? So they've added new lines of packaged clamps, rib neck carriage bolts, and plow bolts. And who doesn't need new plow bolts after this winter? Trinity Hardware headquarters also has over 600 cushioned clamps made in the USA by KMC, 18 sizes of ribbed neck carriage bolts, and over 40 sizes of plow bolt kits. And that's just the new stuff. They're still stocking their 400,000 square foot warehouse top to bottom with screws, nuts, bolts, washers, fittings, just about any fastener you could possibly need. And you can order 24/7 online from trinityhardwarehq.com. Or call 888-232-1010 anytime. Trinity Hardware Headquarters, for parts done right.
My customer sent me a print for a bolt specifically for the machine in his shop, but we can't make it.
Solution man, Ken. Provide me with the print, and my superhuman CNC machining team will custom make it for you faster than a manufacturer's rep drinking at an open bar. Visit the Solution Industries website for details at solutionind.com.
Wow, that is fast.
So are you at the distributive social, huh?
ND Industries has been solving customers' toughest problems through innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service since 1955. A family-owned business, ND Industries manufactures and applies fastener locking, bonding, sealing, masking, and assembling products. Their pre-application process makes fasteners ready to use at the point of assembly, resulting in reduced labor costs, time savings, and superior quality assurance. As a fully integrated company, ND handles all aspects of operations from formulating custom chemical compounds and coating fasteners to providing inline inspection, packaging, and delivery services. ND Industries serves the global market with 13 divisions in the continental U.S. and also facilities in Taiwan, China, and Turkey. Learn more about ND Industries at our website at www.ndindustries.com. ND Industries, innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service. Contact ND today.
Hi, this is Carmen Vertullo with Carver Consulting, bringing you the Fastener Training Minute. Have you ever had the dilemma of whether to use coarse or fine threads with bolting? Well, recently, a client of mine had advised a customer on this topic and came away with a surprise. And hopefully you know what the answer is, but if you don't, stick around and you'll know when to use coarse threads and when to use fine threads.
This is John Walkman for the Fastener Training Institute. I enjoyed meeting some of you in Las Vegas last week. There were many good suggestions for future webinars and classes. Our curriculum development team will add them to their to-do list. We had a full class for Benk Blendoff's Fastener Technology Workshop, which is always highly rated. Please consider this next year when you plan the trip. Congratulations to Kristen Kessler of Solution Industries for winning the Fully Threaded Radio Scholarship to our FTI CFS Week class. Her essay about why she wanted to attend our Certified Fastener Specialist class was the most compelling of all the entries. FTI will again partner with Fully Threaded Radio next year to award another scholarship. On November 17th through 21st, FTI and IFI will co-produce our last Certified Fastener Specialist week-long session for 2014. This will be held in Cleveland. This is one of our most popular events, and there is still time and room to register. Then, on December 9th, Metric Fasteners, There's More to Know Than You Think, is presented by Carmen Vertullo. This will be held in Los Angeles and is a great new class. Please visit our website, www.fastenertraining.org, for a complete schedule of our webinars and classes. Now, back to Carmen for our Fastener Training Minute.
Carmen Vertullo back here with you with the Fastener Training Minute, brought to you by the Fastener Training Institute. And so recently, a client of mine had advised one of his customers who needed some fine thread bolts that they couldn't get, that they should just use coarse thread because they were stronger, or better was the actual word he used. Well, it turns out that because of the geometry of threads, in every case when the material is the same, a fine thread bolt is stronger than a coarse thread bolt. The reason is because the strength of a bolt is determined by two things. The first thing is the strength of the material. Whether it's a grade 5 or a grade 8 or stainless steel, doesn't matter. But the thing that matters, of course, is the size of the bolt. A 1/2 inch grade 8 is stronger than a 1/4 inch grade 8, clearly. But why is a 1/2 20 stronger than a 1/2 13? Well, the reason is because of the cross-sectional area through the threads. The coarse threads dig deeper into the bolt than the fine threads do, therefore generating a smaller cross-sectional area through the threads, which is traditionally the weakest part of the bolt and where we expect it to fail. So if you ever have any doubt, fine thread bolt is always stronger than a coarse thread bolt, but not always our best choice, because with fine threads come some other implications. Threads nick easier, cross-threading's easier, assemblability is not quite as good. Fine threads, popular in airplanes and race cars, coarse threads, everywhere else. This is Carmen Vertullo with the Fastener Training Minute.
Hi, this is Jackie with Stealthfast in Chicago. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric back with you, doing this funky online fastener thing we do so well.
I don't have the right accent for that, even after a week in Dallas.
Yeah, everybody knows that, Brian.
Right.
Everybody, thanks for listening in. Get with us anytime. The email address is ftr@fullythreaded.com. And notwithstanding our previous comments about Twitter, you can get with us that way, handle Fully Threaded. The Fastener News Report is coming up. Hey, Bride, this time we just had finished recording Mike McNulty for this episode when a flash headline came across, this time from Industrial Distribution magazine. Their website is indist.com, indist.com, and it has to do with a giant in this industry, and that is Fastenal.
Yeah.
The story was posted on Friday, November 7th. But the news, I guess, hit the wires actually on November 3rd, and it had to do with Will Oberton, the CEO of Fastenal, announcing his retirement. Actually, I guess he resigned from that position. The story goes on. I've heard different versions of this, actually, since the story broke. And I guess he's going to maintain an office there at Fastenal and serve as a mentor for Lee Hine, who is being elevated to that position of CEO. So that's kind of big news.
Yep, it is.
Too bad we don't have Holden Lewis with us, because he was quite the Fastenal hawk. He, of course, has moved on. He's not monitoring every move of Fastenal and the other big boys, but I'm sure he has his own thoughts. In any event, so that's a big headline that I guess Mike McNulty will be reporting on in more detail in our December episode.
Yep.
Those of you who have been listening to Fully Threaded Radio for a while remember the name Holden Lewis. He hasn't been with us since June or so when he went on to greener pastures, but I have some news about the Fastener Distributor Index. He, of course, was instrumental in getting that project off the ground, Bri, and we reported on this program that the NFDA, with the help of their president, Paul Tiffany, and also Vicki Lester over there at PacWest, They were working with another analyst team to develop the FDI and see where we could take it. So I was really hoping to have some numbers for November. We did collect survey information for this month, as we have since July when the last number came out. Just want to let everybody know, sit tight, keep filling out those surveys. We really appreciate it.
All right.
And the latest that we've heard is that it's going to be any day now that we get the backlog, and we'll be all caught up, and hopefully we're going to start January off with a head of steam.
Right. And we want all our members, the ones who have been very good at filling these things in, to continue doing that, and encourage anyone else they meet to do the same, okay? More is better.
In this case, that is absolutely true, unlike with something like Scrubola or at a certain point, even old Rusty Bolt. But I don't really see a downside to getting more when it comes to Fastener Distributor Index survey participants. If your company is not participating in the survey, please check out the website, www.fdisurvey.com. There's only one survey respondent per company that we allow, but there's plenty of room in this industry, so get out there if you haven't done so already. We'd appreciate it.
Speaking of Rusty Bolt, Larry Kelly was very nice and sent me over a glass of it when I was at the booth, okay? It was very welcome.
They did a great job talking about the Buckeye Fasteners booth during the Vegas wrap-up, but yeah, he was looking out for you.
Oh, yeah. I was dry. By then in the afternoon, I was as dry as a bloody desert, and it was getting tough.
Thanks again, Larry Kelly, Buckeye Fasteners. And let's thank the title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio. They are Stelfast and Trinity Hardware Headquarters. We also thank everybody out there for listening in and your feedback. We really do appreciate it. So, Brian, without further ado, why do we not bring on the Fastener newshound, Mr. Mike McNulty?
Right.
Here's the Fastener News Report.
Thanks, Eric and Brian. This is Mike McNulty from Fastener Technology International Magazine, bringing you the Fastener News Report, which is sponsored today by Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners. I want to mention a special thanks to Jackie Ventura for doing a great job with the last Fastener News Report during the last episode. In my absence, LeBron James made his return to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Gasoline dropped below $3 per gallon. The Cleveland Browns surpassed their entire win total for all of last season. The Las Vegas Fastener Show came and went, and the Democrats took a huge midterm election beating. But I am pleased to report that I am still focused on the fastener industry and ready to deliver today's Fastener News Report. In today's report, we're going to recap the facts from the National Industrial Fastener and Mill Supply Expo, and we're going to hear from the winner of the Fastener Training Week Scholarship, which was announced by Eric Dudas in Las Vegas. Also in today's report, we have newsmaker headlines from Chinwell Holdings, Brixton, Service Stampings, Spiral, EFC, McLean Fog Component Solutions, and the Curtis Screw Company. On the back page report, we're going to talk about the meaning of the Republicans' big win. We will get to all of that and the Las Vegas Fastener Show report right after this.
Whether you need a small or large number of fasteners, there is no reason why you should have to sacrifice quality or service for that matter. Volt Industrial Plastics takes great care with each and every order to ensure you receive a quality fastener in a timely and affordable manner. Our state-of-the-art production equipment allows us to produce any quantity you request quickly and efficiently. And with same-day shipping on nearly 1 million in-stock fasteners, we carry an inventory so you don't have to. Visit us online at voltplastics.com to find out more about our quality American-made products. Volt Industrial Plastics, manufacturer of the finest plastic fasteners in the world.
For a selection of hundreds of thousands of fasteners, check out your local Fastenal store or Fastenal.com. We can stock domestic or internationally sourced product locally and keep your bin stock filled for you at no additional expense. We are a 9001-2008 certified company that's made a huge investment in quality control so you don't have to. And if you can't find it on our shelf, we can make it for you at the quantity you need at one of our many manufacturing facilities. Learn more by contacting your local Fastenal store or visiting Fastenal.com today.
I don't have time to look for the best price for a socket head cap screw zinc plated with a patch.
Solution Man Ken. Let me handle all of your secondary processes, and I'll even ship the finished product. One price, one purchase order, one invoice, and one shipment equals one solution. Visit the Solution Industries website for details at solutionind.com.
Solution Man, you're my primary source for secondary processes.
Good one.
Back to the Fastener News Report with Mike McNulty.
The National Industrial Fastener and Mill Supply Expo took place last month at the Sands Expo in sunny Las Vegas. Overall, the show was a big success on many levels. It set a record for the number of exhibit spaces, 822, occupied by well more than 600 exhibitors, just one exhibit space more than the previous record set in 2007. Show management reported that more than 4,600 people from over 40 countries registered for the show, a slight increase over 2013. Registrants included just over 2,100 attendees in the form of fastener distributors, importers, manufacturers' reps, independent sales reps, and others. The balance, or about 2,500 people, were exhibit personnel, which included loads of fastener makers and large distributors, as well as suppliers to the industry. In my view, the show was very well organized and attendance was solid. To me, the size and geographical breakdown of the exhibitors, as well as the attendees, felt about the same as last year, but the overall business mood was more optimistic relative to upcoming manufacturing prospects in the United States. There were lots of good exhibits, and the ones that stood out had working equipment, large product displays, and/or giveaways like monkeys, phone chargers, and beer. Outside of the show floor, several exhibitors in Las Vegas itself offered many networking opportunities and diversions for the fastener industry professional. One of these was the Bourbon Room Fastener Bash held on Thursday, October 23rd. At this event, Eric Dudas of Fully Threaded Radio and the FCH Sourcing Network announced the winner of the Fastener Training Week Scholarship. Kristen Kessler, a sales representative at Solutions Industries, was the winner, and she will be attending the Fastener Training Institute's acclaimed week-long training program. To get reaction, the lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey caught up with Kristen Kessler on the Las Vegas show floor.
Well, I'm very excited. I was awarded a scholarship for a week training course at the Fastener Training Institute. I'm really looking forward to taking the course. It's going to help me become a better, well-rounded sales representative in the fastener industry, especially being a young woman. I feel like it'll really help me get my career off into a good start.
The 2015 Las Vegas show will be held Wednesday through Friday, October 21 through 23rd in the same location. Stay tuned after the Fastener News Report for the annual Semi-All-Star panel discussing the details of the Las Vegas show. Next up, today's top Fastener Newsmaker headlines. Malaysia's largest carbon steel fastener manufacturer, Chinwell Holdings, is acquiring Asia Angel Holdings Limited for about $14 million from two individuals, Taiwanese Chen Ling Liang and Malaysian Chu Wei Feng. Asia Angel, a company incorporated in the British Virgin Islands, holds a 40% stake in Chinwell's subsidiary, Chinwell Fasteners in Vietnam. Brixton in Sanford, Florida, has opened a new warehouse in Phoenix, Arizona, in order to better serve its Southwest and West Coast customers. The company said that it is stocking up on the most popular inch and metric fasteners to improve delivery times. Service Stampings, a Willoughby, Ohio-based short-run metal stamping manufacturer and steel fabricator, has named Synergistics Enterprises as its sales rep and has charged the company with establishing a foothold for service stampings in Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, and Indiana. Spiral International Corporation, based in Danielson, Connecticut, has announced its recent achievement of gold-level status in the Caterpillar Supplier Quality Excellence Process recertification. This award is Caterpillar's initiative that recognizes a supplier's commitment to meet and sustain high-quality standards, and it is only awarded to companies who demonstrate world-class performance on an ongoing basis. EFC International, the St. Louis-based specialty engineered components parts supplier, held its annual rep breakfast meeting with more than 30 people in attendance. The agenda included product training, EFC's State of the Union address, and customer success stories. And our top Fastener Newsmaker headline is that McLean Fog Component Solutions in Mundelein, Illinois, has purchased the automotive division of Curtis Screw Company, LLC, including Curtis's manufacturing sites in Buffalo, New York, and Cornelius, North Carolina. The newly formed division will be known as McLean Curtis, LLC. The acquisition will allow MFCS to expand into the area of precision machine components. Finally, let's turn to the back page for a report on the meaning of the Republicans' big win. There are many words that can be used to describe the Republicans' victories, nationally as well as locally, up and down every ballot in the midterm elections earlier this month. A few that come to mind are shellacking, beatdown, blowout, annihilation, tidal wave, and humiliation. But let us be perfectly clear. This was not a vote to get Washington, D.C. working together, and it was not a vote in favor of Republican policies or ideas or for the wisdom of the elected candidates. This result clearly means that the American people are telling all who serve in government that they want this government to be stopped in its tracks. In particular, the country voted against President Obama, against Obamacare, against Harry Reid, against the Senate, against the entire executive branch and their legions of lawless agencies, against the Democratic Party, against activist judges, against government growth, and against government intrusion. The Republican Party has been given instructions and the unique chance to stop the madness regarding many things. Items as big as health care and immigration, and as small as light bulbs and school lunches, and absurd as government-dictated morality and fabricated divisions or wars among people's gender, race, education, and talent levels. The key word in the aforementioned list of words I used to describe the election results is humiliation, which has humility as its root. The winners and losers need a big dose of humility every day to complete the task of stopping the wild government growth train that started running out of control about 8 years ago. Stop it before it crashes. This has been Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International bringing you the Fastener News Report. Remember to send your news, pictures, comments, corrections, or complaints to me at mcnulty@fastenertech.com.
Whether you were there this year or not, you won't want to miss our annual Vegas Fastener Show Roundup with our semi-all-star panel. Coming right up after this. What were the odds of that? It's Fully Threaded. When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stelfast. Since 1976, Stelfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stelfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stelfast today through our website at www.stelfast.com and put us to work for you. Stelfast. Service you deserve, people you trust. ND Industries has been solving customers' toughest problems through innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service since 1955. A family-owned business, ND Industries manufactures and applies fastener locking, bonding, sealing, masking, and assembling products. Their pre-application process makes fasteners ready to use at the point of assembly, resulting in reduced labor costs, time savings, and superior quality assurance. As a fully integrated company, ND handles all aspects of operations from formulating custom chemical compounds and coating fasteners to providing inline inspection, packaging, and delivery services. ND Industries serves the global market with 13 divisions in the continental U.S. and also facilities in Taiwan, China, and Turkey. Learn more about ND Industries at our website at www.ndindustries.com. ND Industries, innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service. Contact ND today.
Hi everyone, it's Brian Musker. If you're listening to Fully Threaded, then you're no doubt aware of the FCH sourcing network found at fastenersclearinghouse.com. You've probably also heard about our legendary scrubber software that makes listing your inventory on FCH a snap. But have you heard about the new FCH SmartLink interface? With SmartLink, users of Business Edge, InSQL, and Distribution One have a new weapon in the war against excess inventory, because each of these platforms now links directly to the FCH scrubber system through an automated interface. The best part is that this new tool is available at no additional charge to FCH members who use Business Edge, InSQL, or Distribution One. With SmartLink, you can keep your inventory listings up to date with the click of a button, so it's a win-win for all FCH users. The new FCH FastLink interface is really big news, and we'll be thrilled to have your company using it. Business Edge, InSQL, and Distribution One users should contact their software provider for details, or just call me, Brian Musker. You can reach me through the FCH website at www.fastenersclearinghouse.com. That's fasteners with an S, and the S is for scrubber.
This is Mike Scheringhausen from Freedom Fastener at the 31st Annual Midwest Fastener Show, and I listen to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric back with you. Fully Threaded Radio. Well, Bri, another version of the NIFS show, or now it's called the National Industrial Mill Supply and Expo something or other. It's different, but I'd still call it NIFS. Anyway, it's in the bag, and we came away with a lot of good leads this year. Other than the small bout of screwbola you seem to be suffering, it was a pretty good show.
Yeah, actually it was really good, and the people in the booth next to us got the column this time instead of us.
Well, miracles never cease.
I know.
Well, we decided to follow with the tradition of assembling a semi-all-star panel to wrap up this year's NIFS show. And I think that you'll agree that this is another good one. And everybody here has got a reason to have a different perspective. So why don't we line them up? We introduced everybody at the top of the show. But for the benefit of kicking off this segment, Mr. Bob Baer of Abbott Interfast is joining us. Bob, welcome back. This is your second appearance on Fully Threaded. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, gentlemen, for having me back. I am certainly looking forward to being part of this discussion.
And we're looking forward to your perspective and your enlightenment. You're always full of observations that, frankly, I never would have come up with. Also joining us, Ms. Laura Vath, also known as Solution Woman from Solution Industries. Hi, Laura.
Well, hello there, Eric, and the rest of the panel. Thanks for inviting me as well. I look forward to hearing this on the flip side and seeing what it's all about, what everybody's opinion is.
You bet, you bet. And congratulations. We'll be talking a little bit about the booth awards, but Solution Industries was in the pack of award winners this year. So, as always, you did a great job out there in Vegas.
Well, thank you. We pride ourselves as having fun, so we work hard and we play hard.
That is not disputable. Also joining us, rounding out the panel, somebody who's kind of a wild card this year because of his current status with the fastener industry. Rest assured, he is rejoining the group, though, and he is now from the Portland, Oregon area, I believe. It's Mr. John Butler. Hey, John, it was great to see you out there this year.
Oh, sorry. I was mixing another cocktail. Just getting back from Vegas here. We haven't, missed a step. So, but thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah. Now your position among everybody else on the panel is a little bit different because you're kind of a wildcat these days. You formerly of another company operating out of Wisconsin. You moved out to the Pacific Northwest to join your family, and you're kind of a freelancer at the moment. Is that pretty much an accurate read?
I am, and as Cameron Dorsey says, Brett Favre didn't know when to retire, so I'm just like Brett Favre.
In oh so many ways.
Right. That's right, exactly. A winner either way.
And did you lose your phone this time?
No, I did not.
Oh,
and
so feeling better.
I thought I lost it last year in a taxi, and
I know.
actually, would you believe that I left it in the hotel room?
Okay.
So no big extravaganzas for me except for the 14, 15 miles I put on my feet.
Yeah, I think everyone will agree that, if you haven't been to Vegas, sensible footwear is always a wise thing.
Yeah.
And, of course, I didn't learn that lesson again. My feet were killing me for about 3 days afterwards. But let's move to our overall review of the show, and then we'll take it kind of event by event. It was a success. Just to let you know, folks, the official numbers were announced by Susan Hurley. She, of course, the NIFS show manager. And they say that they had a total of 4,606 people registered for the expo, and the all-important distributor category, as she phrases it, came in at 1,347. Bob Baer, Abbott Interfast, we're going to start by asking you overall impressions of this year's Industrial Fastener Show.
Well, those are interesting numbers, registered. When they say registered, I think you'll find the actual attendance records are just somewhat slightly lower. But I thought the show was great. We did not display this year, so I had the leisure of walking around at my own pace, and the show hours were good. Once again, I don't know that I'd change anything on Wednesday. There was a lot of buzz going on this year, and it was a kind of a calmer buzz, I think, than last year. There were a number of things that were creating some storms last year that seemed to have settled down. I believe, when I look at the numbers, and maybe we can get into this a little bit later because I am a numbers guy first and a fastener guy second. That's a story about a different life. But in a previous life, I was a CPA, so I tend to look at things a couple different ways.
I didn't know that.
A lot of people don't know that about me, but I actually came here as controller, and after a few years, switched to the from the dark side to the bright side. It's no fun being locked in a room keeping score. And you can go out and make a few plays. So,
okay.
I thought it was a good show overall. As always, pros and cons. I don't know if you want to get into those now, but as far as comparing show to show to show, I think this was one of the better ones. Very good attendance, a lot of buzz. Like most of them, they die off a little early in the day, but in the big scheme of things, I would absolutely go back next year.
Yeah. Well, and that's well said, because a lot of the action, meaning the fun and games, as well as a lot of business, happens off the show floor. It's just a great meeting facilitator, so that's a great comment. I saw, by the way, Fred Vosecki, your sidekick from Abbott Interfest, also at the show floor. You mentioned that you were walking at your own pace, and when I saw him, he was sitting in a chair talking with somebody else, and he looked like he was a little out of breath, so you must have been moving a little rapidly, Bob.
Well, if you saw Fred alone, it's probably because we move at two different speeds.
Yes.
But yeah, we were fortunate enough. We actually had 4 people walking the floor, and fortunate enough to be able to break up into smaller groups to accomplish what we needed to.
Good stuff. Laura Vath, Solution Industries, you were exhibiting this year. Great job again on the booth. I think you had a 20-footer again. And what can you say? How did the show go for Solution?
Well, that's funny in Bob's opinion. As far as being the dark side and the bright side, I too wear many different hats here, and I'm the controller here as well as the marketing person, so I got to see both sides as well. And it was a very successful show for our company personally. I didn't get a chance to actually walk the show, and it's only because we were 3 to 4 deep constantly in people. So overall, I rated a huge success.
Wow. Yeah, well, that's sweet and sour, and also it's good that you had so many people in your booth, because every time I'd go over there to pick up some Solution swag, that Transformer guy'd scare the hell out of me. I'm surprised that people haven't caught on to that yet. I sure haven't. But man, he is quite a crowd pleaser, isn't he?
Oh, yes, he is. And this year especially, we put a helmet cam on him because we found that we missed a lot of startled reactions that we were going to post on our Facebook page and just relive the experience now that we have it on film. Hopefully it's the edited version, though.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Right.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that before this exact moment. So, folks, watch out. I guess we'll hear on social media or through other venues that this is available at some point.
Oh, absolutely. We'll make a big splash on that once we have it all. It ran the whole time of our show, so there's a lot of editing to be done, but we have a lot of good reactions. I think we'll keep them laughing from the fun booth.
Oh, boy.
Laura, I think you're being a little modest. I think a lot of people were there to see you and your charming self.
Well, I am the sunshine girl. If you don't know by now, I profess that. So there's always a smile to be given, and I hope that a lot of people were there to see me. But as much as I appreciate that. I think Solution Man was more the venue that they were looking for.
And we've also got another pseudonym for you now. So it's Sunshine Girl / Solution Woman / Cindy Brady, and we won't go into how you got that one, but we'll move right along to Mr. John Butler. John, you were kind of walking the show floor as an independent this year, and what was your impression of the show? How did it go? What was, in your estimation, the big surprise or the big news or the buzz?
Well, it was quite different for me personally, as I've never been unemployed in my life. So looking around, there was a lot of different opportunities, and I was still up in the air as to what direction that I wanted to go personally for the rest of my fastener career. It's true that once you're in fasteners, it's hard to get out. I found it to be that there was a lot of new vendors there that I had never seen before. I did not attend last year. I had sent out 2 other people from our company I was working for out to the show. So this was the first time actually seeing Solution Man, the transformer that he is.
Did he scare the hell out of you?
No, I knew what to expect. He ran that motor a little bit, and I knew what was going on,
okay.
So it didn't affect me. But, of course, Laura always affects me whenever I see her. So a lot of the vendors there had booths that didn't stand out for me. There was a little bit of a lack of originality, where in other years I noticed that there were themes to some of the booths. Now you are there to entertain, but also to get people to your booth so that you can conduct business.
Yeah, that's a great observation. I noticed a little bit of that too. I mean, one of the standouts in that category would be Rotor Clip. They always seem to have this great theme. I remember, for example, they had the jungle theme a while back. And then the other thing that is noticeably absent from the show floor side, obviously from Porteous not being there this year, would be the big old hog that they had from Vegas Fasteners. Elgin acquired them, and that used to be front and center, always a good thing to see, kind of, totemistic thing for the fastener industry, but gone. Good point, John.
Yeah, we are there to conduct business, but we're there to have fun as well. So I had actually, imagine this, I tweeted over to Rotorclip prior to the show that I was looking forward to seeing what they were going to present. I just had assumed that they would, so we did miss that. A lot of new organizations that had been put together in 2014-13, which was one of them was Young Fastener Professionals, YFP, and their 30 under 30 candidates were chosen, and they had I won't say a seminar, but they had a gathering of the 30 under 30, and it was very well attended. I checked out their website this morning and noticed a lot of the pictures from a lot of our friends in the fastener industry. The directors from that are Sarah Hill from Ernest Machine, Ryan Curtis of Stelfast, Melissa Patel from Field Fastener, Aaron Shushin from Specialty Sales, and Brian Wheeler of Star Stainless. They presented 30 candidates or members of the 30 under 30 we call it a
would
club.
be the class of 2014,
there
30
we go.
under 30.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the names and companies that were represented are very familiar to all of us. So congratulations to those 30 under 30, and looked like they had a fantastic gathering, and sorry that I missed it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll come back to that in a second when we go kind of through the show hour by hour, but that's a great point. And I want to come back to Rotor Clip real quick. Not to say that Rotor Clip's booth wasn't good, because they always do a stellar job. It just wasn't very thematic this year. Just want to clarify that, but always very professional. Before we go to that minute-by-minute count of the show, Brian, what was your overall impression? I know you were stuck in the booth with two mad women, the lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey being one, and of Jody Elizabeth Jeffrey, our new web partner, being the other. And I occasionally ducked my head in and most times fled in terror, because you guys had that thing just running like a top, and the traffic for us was pretty good throughout the show.
Yeah, I thought, we had a lot of activity actually. And I did actually get out on 2 occasions briefly to run around to see, and I could see that part of the hall that we were in had, as we've noticed and sometimes before, sort of less people in it than the main parts closer to the door.
Are you saying booth 1855 we got to upgrade next year?
Yeah, I'm saying that, okay. It depends. Sometimes the people will come to our place and stop dead and say they're not going to go any further, based on the
proximity to the loading deck. Let's just come out and say it, right?
Right. I've got to be very politically correct how I say this.
Yes.
But it was pretty good. I mean, we had I had an interesting thing was I worked out within the first 2 hours that everyone, when they came by to see how Fasteners Clearinghouse worked, they always wanted to look for the same thing. It was B7M studs. So clearly there's a problem with B7M studs.
That was your informal survey, was it?
Yeah, everyone was looking for the same thing.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to talk about that at some point, and maybe dig into it a little deeper, see if there's a story there. I do know that the Jumbo Fastenertron was blazing at most times, and you did a great job of managing it. We were flying our gray Stealthfast Monkey, proud and tall. That was great. It was excellent to see everybody from Trinity Hardware headquarters out there. Dan Zender made it out this year, which was good. He missed last year. So all of our friends were there, and we didn't get to see everybody that we wanted to, but that just comes with the show. It's just too overwhelming. But good job by everybody. Well, John, you already gave us kind of a preview of Wednesday. There were a bunch of meetings that went on. One was that 30 under 30 group, which I saw some of the pictures. I'm not saying that everybody in the photos of that event weren't under 30, but we're going to have to find out a little bit more of the bylaws of that organization.
Well, we're going to attract everybody to their site, because Don Shan had a great photo in one of those pictures. Laura, would you agree?
I plead the fifth in that one. But, in getting back to that, I think that Melissa and Ryan, I think that they underestimated the amount of the support that they were going to get from everyone, because what I find fascinating by the young fastener professionals, the 30 under 30, all of this next generation of fastener and industry people that are showing so much effort and passion that they want to get involved in the up and coming. So this 30 under 30, I think the elders or the veterans of the industry just really wanted to offer their support as well. So the little roped off area that they had, we were in a little corner of the bar, wasn't near enough space for everybody to socialize, but it was a great reception for all. And we did have 2 of our employees that made the class of 2014, so I'd like to congratulate Dustin Windsor and Kristen Kessler to that group as well.
Yeah, congratulations to all 30 winners. And, of course, we have more news about Kristen coming up.
Yes, we do.
She had kind of a triple crown at this year's event. But there were other events that went on Wednesday afternoon before the show really got going, and they included meetings of the Women in the Fastener Industry, Wi-Fi, as well as I know the FTI had a training seminar. I did not attend anything there this year. I got into town a little bit late on Wednesday. And the other biggie was the return of the Hall of Fame induction. I don't think anybody on our panel today made it to that event. However, the inductees this year, after a little bit of a kind of an absence of that event at the show, the inductees were from Stelfast, Surinder Sakuja, and from Distributor Link Magazine, Mr. Leo Core. So they are the latest inductees into the Fastener Hall of Fame. We congratulate them. I am sorry to say neither of them were actually at the show in attendance in person, but I noticed at the bar after the induction ceremony, they had some quite amusing life-size heads of Surinder on a stick. So if you wanted to get a photo with him, that was an opportunity. Got kind of a kick out of that. So leave it to Stelfast to come up with something fun for the show.
You know, we should also point out that the Fastener Industry Coalition, which one of our panelists, Bob Baer, is a member, also had a meeting on Wednesday.
True.
During that meeting, it was decided that Joanne Bayliss of International Fasteners will serve as the next term as chairman, and Cameron Dorsey of Beacon Fasteners will serve as vice chair. Congratulations to them.
We're looking forward to big things from the FIC, and it sounds like they're gaining momentum.
Right.
What happened at this year's Bourbon Room Bash? Find out in part 2 of our annual Vegas wrap-up, coming up in mere moments on Fully Threaded.
Since 1905, Buckeye Fasteners and the Ohio Nut and Bolt Company have been supplying the world with high-quality fasteners. Our standard product lines include weld fasteners, braided weld screws, leg levelers, self-clinching hardware, clevis pins, rivet nuts, and various other fastener lines, allowing us to support virtually all types of industries. We have complete custom manufacturing capabilities in low carbon, medium carbon, and stainless steel materials, and our quality systems are registered to ISO standards. Our on-staff engineering department can assist you with product development and provide total technical support. Our knowledgeable sales team members offer superior customer service and are here to answer any questions you may have regarding our products. Having a hard time finding a part? Let our sourcing specialists do the work for you to locate those items. We offer competitive pricing with typically smaller minimums and shorter lead times. To find out more about Buckeye Fasteners, please call us at 800-437-1689 or on the web at buckeyefasteners.com. Buckeye Fasteners, more than just weld.
Harry, how's your search for new software going?
We've looked at a lot of systems, some with the same old technology, and others didn't seem like they knew much about what we did or needed. We did look at one company, crazy name though, I think it was InSQL.
You mean INXSQL? That's InSQL. That's what we use. We've become much more efficient, and we've been able to offer our customers more services, which makes us more competitive.
Yeah, Inkswell, that's the one. They seem to be the only company that really understood what fastener distributors do for a living, and I found it easy to use.
Harry, it's InSQL, INXSQL. You don't pronounce the X. We buy a lot from several master distributors, and their direct connect simplifies the whole process. When we need pricing and availability quickly, we just hit the F12 key.
If you don't pronounce the X, why put it in there? A friend told me they get great support from NXQL.
Yes, with InSQL, our experience has been the same. Quality support. They know our business. And the best part is, no extra charges. With our old system, apparently nothing we called about was covered by support.
You know, Inkwell seems to be the right company for us.
They're called InSQL, INXSQL. Go to their website, www.inxsql.com, or call them at 877-446-9775.
Coming to you across the vast audio radiance of the internet, it's the voice of the FCH Sourcing Network. Fully Threaded Radio.
That, of course, all led up to the climax of the pre-show activities this year, and that, of course, is what we like to call prom night, Fastener prom night. That was the big cocktail bash. Bob Baer, I saw you there, always looking sharp in a fantastic-looking shirt. and you outdid yourself again this year. Congratulations.
Well, I appreciate the compliment. I was there, and like every year that this event has gone on, very well attended. Very adequate space. Didn't feel crowded at any one point. The attendance was good. I didn't have much of it myself, but I understand that the food was good this year, and of course, free-flowing drinks for an hour is always good. Again, a little short on time. It's really, really tough in 1 hour, and you kind of want to see everybody before the show. It's a really tough deal to get around that room in an hour.
Oh, yeah.
I agree, actually.
Now, I'd say that's the first time I attended that reception, and I was just amazed of the wall-to-wall people, and I felt like a kid in a candy shop because everybody was all in one room, and I couldn't get to everybody I wanted to, and I just was just amazed at the turnout and what a great reception to start off the show.
Yeah, it really was. They moved the venue this year. It had been for the last several years over at Harrah's, and this year they moved it to Treasure Island, which I thought was an upgrade and also an easier walk for me because I was staying across the street from the show site at the Mirage. So it was right next door for me, which was great. They estimate that 1,500 people were at the event.
Oh,
quite a show.
Yeah, actually getting to everyone isn't the problem. It's finding them in the crowd.
That's true.
And they
fact.
there should be a prerequisite to wear your name tags because those do really help.
Yeah, they encourage that, but of course everybody's trying to look really sharp, and sometimes those name badges don't work, or you just have it flipped the other way, and then you're just like all the other people, and your name is page 1. There were a lot of folks walking around with that.
It's almost like being at the class reunion. You have to look down and then up at their face. So
yeah, it can get a little uncomfortable, but that's really when the show.
It can. But when you're used to talking on the phone to everybody, I know I don't meet everybody that I talk to, and I talk to a lot of people. So when I have the opportunity to meet someone face to face, what better place than that reception?
Exactly. Never be self-conscious about looking at badges. You can't know everyone. You can't have met everyone. And that's what's great about our industry is really good people.
I don't know what the cost would be. And, of course, 30 minutes more of drinks would certainly add some expense to the show. But even if they extended that thing for about 30 minutes and let people use a cash bar, I think that would go a long, long way. I would venture to say 2 hours might be too long for a pre-show reception, but an hour is certainly too short.
I think everybody is on the same agreement with that. I heard a lot of that at the show.
I think they actually did switch over to a cash bar this year, Bob, because after the hour was up, I did see people still getting drinks. So I think that was it. But what the exact time should be, I think that's going to be one of these eternal questions that'll never get answered. People do start filtering out to their pre-show meetings and dinners and so forth afterwards, and that's when the parties really begin. And you can tell who takes advantage of that, because Thursday morning, you're either bright and bushy-tailed or you look like you got screwbola.
Yeah, it takes a couple of Vegas trips to learn the lesson of take it easy on Wednesday night.
Oh, yes, that is true.
Yeah, you got it. So sensible footwear, number 1, and pace yourself, number 2.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know if the 30 under 30 set's going to agree, but...
If you want, I can add a little side note to that. The first year that Steve Parham and I attended Vegas, talk about drinks flowing and partying. Everybody was out until all hours of the night. The Solution crew minus Mr. Don Shan, we ended up eating dinner at like 3 in the morning. So fast forward only 2 short hours. Call from Don Shan. You ready for breakfast? We're having breakfast in a half hour. So I immediately hang up. I call Steve. Steve, did you get the call from Don Shan? Yes. Oh, my God, what is he thinking? So lo and behold, a half hour later, Steve and I are dragging down to breakfast. And mind you, having just eaten 2 hours before, neither one of us were ready for eggs at that point. So lesson learned first year.
And those of you who know Don Shan will recognize the unusual circumstances that must have been going on at that show, because normally Don is not the king of pacing himself. But good job that year, Don. How did he do this year?
Yeah.
I think he did absolutely fine.
Okay.
I don't have any stories just yet.
All right, we'll take that offline, I guess, is what you're saying. Well, moving ahead, it was the next day at 9 a.m. that the ball really got rolling. In that first hour or so, the show is always so exciting. You hear that the show is now open. Jim Bannister comes on the overhead, and those of us who are exhibiting, we're waiting, and we start hearing that rumble. And, of course, if you're like Brian and I were, you're all the way back by the loading dock, and you hear it, kind of rumbling, and oh, they're coming, and it's exciting.
It's kind of like Christmas time when you see the commercials or the aftermath the next day, that Thursday where everyone's lined up outside Target or Walmart and the doors open, and before you know it, the big crowd is dispersed among all the aisles.
Exactly. It's an excellent analogy. Of course, a lot of people were rushing right to the Stellfast booth to find out what color the monkey was, and again, it was gray for anybody who hasn't gotten theirs yet. Were you shocked by that, John Butler?
I was surprised at how many people had the monkeys hanging around their neck. Day two, there was so many people sitting there with monkeys, especially the people from Asia that were sitting around by themselves. And I actually made some comments about being now two in the booth instead of just one. So it was very cute, very cute. And it's always fun to see everybody with the monkey and see what color it was.
It was fun. I actually was in the FIC booth, coalition booth, Friday morning and was working it alone. And so before I worked the booth, I walked over, and to their credit, they still had monkeys on Friday morning. And I dragged a monkey over to the FIC booth charging station.
Okay, good. Getting back to your comment, John, it would be interesting to know how many of those monkeys actually make the return trip across the Pacific.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Now, there were other trinkets that were out there, and I'm not going to say who they were or who was putting them out and what name was on them, but you spent a lot of money at the show, and if you have some cups with your name on it and you're giving them out, a lot of those probably don't make them back. They're just plastic cups, but it is advertising and it is branding. You're getting your name out there. I can't fault anyone for that, but I'm sure a lot of the products don't make it back home.
Well, that's a great point, John. And at this juncture of the conversation, it'd probably be appropriate to mention that the people from the Fastener news desk were on hand at the show this year. Actually, Shelby was there. She's their social media wonk, and she actually gave out booth awards. And I'm not sure exactly how this all went down, the judging and so forth, but they did publicize their awards for the show. And I think one of the booths that you were kind of mentioning happens to be one of our good friends. That's Buckeye Fasteners. And they were awarded the best giveaway. And that giveaway was our favorite beer. Fastener lovers all over love it, and it's Old Rusty Bolt, of course. And so good job to Larry Kelly and crew this year. Congratulations on your award. Actually, Laura, your company, Solution Industries, made the list on the award list this year as well. And what was that for?
That would be for the most fun, Eric.
Yeah, getting the hell scared out of you by a transformer. They call that fun.
It's all in good fun. That transformer guy certainly gets a lot of attention. And who knows if he'll be returning next year or what the next fun thing will be on our list.
Well, we'll all be there, so we'll find out. But congratulations to you.
Thank you.
For folks who are curious about other awards, the PAC West, Pacific West Fastener Association, won the most interactive. Good job, Vicki, Lester, and crew. You guys always do a good job, especially with your foot massage device where you can sit on a sofa and kind of take a load off. Best overall booth, I did not notice this one, so I can't comment further, but best booth went to Alcoa Fastening Systems.
Gosh, I can't say that I saw that one either.
That I'd have to be in that same group of you guys. Must have passed it right up, unfortunately.
Well, thanks to Shelby Cunningham, she's gotten around. She was able to go to all the booths. So if she says that was the best booth around, we'll just have to go by her word then.
Absolutely. She said it was simple, clean, bright, and you couldn't walk past without stopping. So I would have said that about the old rusty Buckeye booth, but hey, to each his own.
Right.
Congratulations to everybody.
Maybe she didn't like beer.
A very distinct possibility, Bri.
Right.
Well, I have to tell you, from experience, that was a great booth. Beer is always good.
Agreed. And I think that the trend is expanding. Our buddy Bob Reynolds over at InSequel Software always had a keg. I mean, this is going back for years and years, and he knew the magic of the magic elixir. And I think it's caught on. And I think Fully Threaded will take a little bit of credit for helping people to see the light there, but not too much. Because let's face it, we're not willing to shell out like $2,000 to have a keg in your booth or something.
Exactly.
I don't know what it is. It's not that, but it's not cheap to serve beer in your booth, and so people must feel they get a bang for the buck for that.
I think there were 4 booths that actually had beer at their booth.
Minimum.
Maybe we should do a beer crawl next year or something along that line. I bet people would make it to all the booths if that were the case.
Yeah, and they'd be crawling by the time they got to the after party.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We do have to work on Friday morning, though. There's the problem.
Yes.
But that's how things get started. One idea.
You got that right, John. And we'll talk about the Bourbon Room in just a second, because that was a small idea in industry blogger The Traveling Salesman's mind just a couple of years ago, and it's turned into something quite a bit bigger. But just to wrap up that first day on Thursday, and our experience over at the FCH Sourcing Network booth, again, things started off really, really strong. In other words, there were several people deep. Our team really was working the crowd to keep people interested and engaged, and really stay in line to get their chance to check out the Fastener-tron and one of Brian's demos. Then, as the afternoon came, around lunchtime, actually, it started to thin out a little bit, and we were fortunate enough to have done our homework. We called ahead and invited a lot of people, and they did stop by the booth. So we had a constant stream of people, although the traffic was a little bit lighter as the afternoon went on.
Speaking of doing homework, I think there's some interesting analysis going on as far as the amount of booths displayed and the time frame involved in order to visit all these booths. And I think it boils down to, it's almost analyzing it to speed dating. And by that, I mean, you have, 1-2 minutes to introduce yourself to the visitor. You give a brief profile of one another. You try to connect with them, trying to find a common denominator, how we can help you, how you can help us, build a relationship, at least a potential relationship. Then you hope you made a good impression, exchange business cards, and hope you can get a date number 2 as a follow-up.
Yeah, that's a great analogy, Laura.
There's not a lot of time.
In years past, I used the entire time, both days, to be able to get to every booth to make sure I was not missing any products, anything new that was in the industry. It does take all of the 2 days to do that. Now, you talk to some other people and they say, yeah, I was done the first day and I flew home. It depends on what you want to get out of the show.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that boils down to, I think Susan Hurley does a great job making sure that we get the attendees list, the exhibitors list, and in fact, we have a company-wide meeting and go over each person that's attending. We have our salespeople. All right, you're going to target these people. The purchasing are going to target these vendors. So you review everything and come up with an effective plan. Otherwise, it's almost like you're just fast and furious trying to get through the whole show. So if you do a little research and a little homework, it makes for a much smoother show, I believe.
Very good comment.
Yes, there was definitely an art and science to it. Traveling Salesman on his blog frequently comments about that, but that is definitely true. Now, thus far, nobody has mentioned anything. Perhaps, Bob Baer, you have a comment on this one about what Brighton was doing this year. There was a lot of speculation before the show because there were some mysterious booths that were set off to the side of BBI this year that were unaccounted for, and when the bell rang, what did you find there adjacent to the primary Brighton booth?
Well, it was interesting, and I did make my way over there, and what they had was, first and foremost, is they had 90 people registered for the show, far and above anybody else.
Yeah.
I think the next closest company attendance was Star Stainless with 35. So just to give you an idea of the mass of people they had working the main booth, and then their new product this year that they introduced, and I did have a chance to look at it, is a line of tools, industrial line of tools, which I believe they're going to have available in January this year, and to compete with none other than the Craftsman tool, believe it or not, world. And being a do-it-yourselfer and having done a lot of handiwork around the house, I was very much interested in seeing what they were offering. Some very nice stuff, and kind of a change in the buzz this year versus last year with BBI. And kind of a nice welcome change. Nobody was talking about any rumors this year, just talking about their new product line.
Okay.
It was very interesting to see an importer of fasteners getting into the tool industry. Usually when you have their new product is rivets as well, and then of course you'd have the rivet installation tooling to go with it. That usually falls back on the manufacturers of the rivets or the larger rivet distributors, say an Industrial Rivet, or you're looking at an Emhart or Pop Rivet, Avdel, having their own tools. So it was a little bit different, and I don't know how that's going to go over.
Right. I thought it took a lot of people by surprise, and I have to disagree with you, though, a little bit, Bob, because as soon as September starts, I always start getting calls from all over the place, people asking me to confirm, have I heard this, have I heard that, and this September was no different. Having said that, I don't think any of the rumors that were predominantly being floated around were there was any truth to them. Mm-hmm. Everybody probably knows the same old ones that we've been hearing year after year. Having said that, Lindstrom was another one that made an announcement right ahead of the show, and I think that was kind of surprising to a lot of people, and specifically I'm talking about their announcement regarding Titan.
Yeah, it's wondering what direction they're going to go to and why they would purchase or merge with the Titan Fastener, who is a packaging house. I don't see the connection as far as the metrics to Titan, what Titan's doing.
Right, and a lot of people had the same thing. They were scratching their head. Mike Wren will be on the next episode of Fully Threaded Radio with us to talk about that subject, so we'll leave any speculation go for now, because we'll have the source of news out of that company coming up very soon, so stay tuned, everybody. But that was pretty much day one until the parties started, and there were a bunch of our friends who were having after parties. They started about 3 o'clock, as far as I know, the off parties, I should say. Beacon Fastener did their V-Bar room.
They did, and it was just like other years. It's a great way to start. It's right off the conference floor on the way back to the hotel, and the Beacon people always do a nice job with that. They're all there to socialize and chat, and this year it was a little different. They had some of their new product line out on the table to talk about while you had a cocktail.
That's a good idea.
It was different for sure, introducing a couple new lines while you have a cocktail.
Sure.
And they weren't the only ones. From there were a number of people having, in fact, party hopping was the theme from probably 3 to 7 day after the show. And it's a nice time because you've had an opportunity to put a day in at the show, an opportunity to see most of the people, and then catch up in a little more detail if you need to with folks at all the hospitality suites.
Yeah, a lot of people are not that are leaving on Thursday night, so it's really good for them to be able to come in and get together if they weren't able to attend the Fastener Bash and mingle in a relaxed atmosphere.
Yep. Of course, Cambridge had another bar party there that was a little invite-only thing, and there were numerous of those happening around the immediate vicinity of the show, and of course the big, very lavish Brighton after party as well. Would you call it an after party? I guess you would. They have, as usual, they spare no expense, and everybody seems to have a great time over there. Anybody make it to the Brighton?
No, I made it over to the
year?
Cambridge. I made it over to the Cambridge gathering, and that's where Laura bought me a drink. And that was fantastic. I couldn't believe she was buying everybody a drink. It was very nice of her.
Well, I'm good like that. I think I did buy you more than one. Come to think about it, but it's always good conversation with you. So if it only cost me a drink.
Aren't you sweet?
And that's where Sunshine Girl comes from. So, of course, all those after parties were really warming everybody up for one of the big ones, and that was this year's Bourbon Room event. I will kick this off. I was honored to participate in a scholarship, as was Brian this year. So we had the Fully Threaded Fastener Training Institute scholarship to give out, the winner of which is going to be, I hope, become soon a certified fastener specialist after going through Fastener Training Week. And the best essay that we received, who might that be? The best essay we received this year was from none other than Of Solution Industries, Kristen Kessler. And it was a pleasure to see her out there in attendance. Laura, was not expecting the winner to be in attendance. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of things with that. First of all, thank you for even offering that. That is very kind of both of you, and I certainly see that you see the value in becoming certified. There's no college degree for fasteners, so boy, does that help, especially with the next generation that I speak of. And I do hear that webinars are being offered as well. It sounds like you're really taking care of the people who applied. But yes, Kristen, I think I don't think her feet have touched the ground yet, because she goes from getting married the Saturday before. Part of her honeymoon was the Vegas trip. She became the member of the 30 under 30, and then the icing on the cake was this scholarship to get for the Fastener Training Institute. So she was just smiling from ear to ear, and I talked to her today, in fact, and she's waiting till the July, when it comes around to Cleveland in July, just because she's trying to get settled in now through the end of the year. We have some changes going on, and she's become a junior sales associate, so she is just thrilled to have this opportunity all the way around. She's a good girl.
Yeah, well, it was a pleasure, and she really did a great job with her essay. We were pleased to hear from John Walkman of the Fastener Training Institute that they're regarding this as the first annual scholarship. So that sounds like next year we'll be doing it all over again. So that was great. And as you mentioned, Kristen did kind of have a triple crown there. I mentioned that earlier. Plus, the Fastener Training Institute came through in a really classy gesture, and they gave everybody who submitted an essay a voucher to attend one of their new webinar programs. And I just can't say enough about what they're doing over there. Now, on to the more, let's call it the dark side of the Bourbon Room experience. I don't know if you, Bob, or perhaps you, John, can comment on that. I think, Brian, you were already starting to get a little bit tired at after the presentation of the scholarship, and you bowed out a little early. But what were your impressions of the party scene this year?
First, I want to just like to put this in there as well. Also, I was able to receive a free webinar from the Fastener Training Institute for the paper that I wrote, and I do appreciate your contribution to that, and I thank you so much.
Nobody's more deserving.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Eric,
onward,
if I might jump in also, it sounds like an annual award is going to give you an annual opportunity to get yourself on that stage.
And what could I have asked for more? I can only hope that Rich Cavoto was out there as usual, iPhoning it all, and so we'll see it out there someday.
Speaking of the dark side, Eric Judas, What were you doing? Were you on stage this year, or
Only for the
I
award.
do believe they had some contests going on. Were you part of that? One of those contests?
I was only on stage this year for the award of the scholarship, and I was a good boy this year. That's why I kind of turned it over to our other friends to kind of comment on what else might have gone on. I know that it's kind of a tradition now that the shots start flowing pretty readily around 1 or so. I was out at one of the casinos losing my shirt, so by that time I was a little bit out of the bourbon room action. But did anybody have an idea when it actually kind of all wound up?
Well, your twin brother was there for the whole time. Didn't he MC the whole thing?
He foils me again.
We kind of held tradition, and we were there pretty late. I don't know that we were that the tequila was as free flowing at 2 a.m. as it was last year. Part of that might be due to the fact that you weren't there. But it was a very strong crowd. It started out last year a little slow and it built up. This year it started out very strong, stayed strong pretty well into the night. We kind of bowed out of there fairly late and went over to the crap table right outside the bourbon room, but I kept my eye fixed on things, and it was hopping well into the wee hours, and then we actually went back for nightcap. There were a lot of Fastener people left, a lot of people there, and a lot of networking going on, and a lot of drinks flowing.
Well, that's the way it should be. And again, that's the brainchild of Traveling Salesman, and he's done a great job in promoting it. And a lot of people across the industry have caught on to it and have been pitching in with promoting it. So thanks to everybody who's doing that. I think next year is going to be even bigger and better. And talking about the surge that happens later at night, when the Star Party gets done, of course, that's an infamous invite-only event that happens on Thursday nights after the first day of the show. And then, of course, I know the Stellfast crew usually rolls in after their dinners. I saw most of the people from Brighton there early, actually. And so it was just a overall great crowd.
Well, what's nice about that is, all kidding aside, we do go to Vegas to work and network, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
In theory.
But we also go there to socialize. And when we do the Bourbon Room or any other event like that, it's really just to kind of let your guard down a little bit, because you don't feel like you're on like you are at the show. And it gives the opportunity of meeting people that you know in a business way, to at least see the personal side of them, to get to know and create and nurture the relationship that you already have. So I think those socializing events are just as important as the show itself.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. The caveat is that the bourbon room, the background noise is so bloody loud that you have to be listening very, very carefully to hear what anyone's saying.
Doesn't seem to bother the 30 under 30 crowd, Bri.
No, maybe I must. My old age, I've got a hearing problem. I just think, yeah.
But points well taken. Definitely points well taken. Well, folks, regardless of what you were doing on Thursday night, I think we'll all agree that the kind of the tapering down of the tequila shots made the elevator ride back to the hotel room a little easier this year. And I won't go any further into that one. But
you mean you actually found it? You found the elevator?
It actually went up this year to the room.
And having said that, we all made it through Thursday. Friday, of course, was an amusing day for those of us who kept our wits about us. And we were walking around the floor, and you could tell who really made the most of the night and who was ready to take on the day. Of course, typically traffic is a little slower, and you get to associate with your fellow exhibitors a little bit. This year was no exception. However, we did have a good group of very motivated distributors that were walking the halls. We personally at FCH had great conversations on Friday all the way up until the closing bell when Aaron Shushan and his partner came up and did a little bit of impromptu videographing of us. I have no idea where that's going to be shown. But the specialty sales guys were hard at work supporting their lines, which is always good to see. How was Friday for the Solution booth, Laura?
Well, let me think now. Well, we did have Transformer Guy. He was still there. A couple of us had to leave I was one of them, so I had to leave probably by 10 o'clock, so I didn't get to finish off the show. But all in all, like you say about the intermingling of the vendors, it does give us a chance to talk to one another and compare notes. I know there was a lot of that going on, so it's a good opportunity. As busy as we are Thursday, we could divvy up the group so people that have never walked a show in our company were able to, and nothing like getting all those giveaways.
Absolutely. I made it over to the Star booth and grabbed some a 3-pack of Callaway golf balls for my brothers. I understand that those are pretty good. Not a golfer myself, but I thought that was a pretty good one. Thanks to all the people who stopped by the FCH booth and picked up a pocket Constitution. Hopefully you will go to Article 5 and read Provision 2. Just thought I'd slip that in there. Now that the elections are over. But
a homework assignment?
Yeah, it is for the whole country. So Friday is a little bit slower. Bob and John, you, of course, did not have to do anything exhibit-wise, but from your perspective, what did you see on Friday that caught you?
Actually, Friday morning, I had to work the Fastener Coalition booth for an hour, so I was there the entire time. For me, we talked a little bit about strategy with the show. I used the first day to get through most of the aisles and kind of pick and choose where I'm going to go back on Friday for a more in-depth conversation. It seems to, if you're not working a booth and you can free flow, it seems to work out fairly well. So I had some very good conversations Friday morning, but I'll tell you, you almost want to be stealth when you're walking through the aisles because traffic is down and everybody's in their booth and they're still looking to work. And you kind of have to, you know where you're going, and you kind of have to sneak through the aisles to get there because everybody wants to pull you into their booth and have a conversation with you.
Well, you're a popular guy, Bob.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
And you always look like $1 million when you're walking down the aisle, so people know, this is a guy who's going to move and shake. So let's leave it at that. But Brian, we still had some good attendance, as I said, at the FCH booth. Again, you guys did a great job. Jody Elizabeth, I think, made a lot of connections there. She, of course, just entering the fastener world and learning the ropes and so forth, and it was a great time for her to do that. So I guess all in all, we could say the show is a success from any way you look at it, and it's hard to believe that it's over for another year, but we'll get, I guess, ramped up for the next one. And of course, we have in June coming up Fastener Tech 15. It's almost becoming like a mini Vegas, so I'm sure most of us will meet up there also. So we've got that to look forward to before the next Vegas show. One question I'm just going to throw out to the panel, just in general. We've talked a lot in past episodes about the social media impact on the show. Anybody have any observations? Is social media, is it supporting the show significantly? Is it seem to be catching on, or is it really a non-event?
I think it's very trendy. It's very important as well. For myself, on Friday, I was there trying to either get lines or get employment with a fastener company. On Friday, I was in a 2-hour interview at the beginning of the show, and this happened because I was over at the Pac West Fastener Association booth, and Vicki Lester told me that a certain company was looking to get a hold of me. And we used Twitter to make that contact, and things are proceeding forward as of this point, and hopefully I can make an announcement on Twitter and Facebook about where I'll be working soon. So I think it's very relevant and very important for our industry. It is used as a marketing tool, but it's very, very helpful in other ways as well.
Yeah, I love it. Brian has no opinion, but
I don't. Yeah, I'm not too good at Twitter.
Well, that's good to hear. I didn't really see much of anything happening out on any of the other platforms, but I guess if there is a kind of a leader in the business, it would be Twitter. And there is a kind of a small but loyal group of tweeters out there. So I guess this year was pretty much the same as previous years. So I really don't see a big difference. But hey, the 30 under 30 is coming on, and I know that they're all very reliant on their technology. Well, everybody, let's leave it at that with the show wrap up. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you for contributing this year. Hard to believe another one has gone by. Bob Baer, you're at abbott-interfast.com, and you've got another concern going on online, which you were talking about that I overheard, and that's splitstop.com. What's that all about?
Well, splitstop.com is our website for another venture that we've jumped into here. It's not really new, but it's been kind of in the background. And the product line that we sell is deck and composite screws for wood and composite decks and trim. And it is hands down the absolute highest performing deck fastener on the market. It's available in many specialty lumber yards across the country. You won't find it in Home Depot or Lowe's or Menards, but you'll find it in the specialty lumber yards. And we've recently secured a patent on our fascia board system. We're very excited about that. That information can be found on the website as well.
Yeah, very cool. Well, maybe next year, if you're exhibiting, people will be able to stop there. And in the meantime, of course, splitstop.com is the website. Laura Vath of Solution Industries, thank you so much for your comments as well. Of course, Solution, a great friend and sponsor of Fully Threaded Radio. Don and John, you guys do just a fantastic job, and it shows with your crew ever expanding. Laura, the Solution Industries website, of course, is solutionind.com. What would we do without you?
Well, let's not find out.
I love it.
Very, very well said.
I love it. Thank you for inviting me. Maybe I think I got over the Cindy Brady stage fright thing, so maybe you'll invite me back.
I don't think there's a doubt of that one.
Especially with if John and Bob, I'll join them again too. So it was a pleasure being on the panel with you both.
Well, you can count on an invite back, and until then, just remember, don't play ball in the house. Okay, little Brady Bunch trivia there for you.
Got it.
30 or 40 or 50 something.
Marsha.
And John Butler, it sounds like you've got things steaming along. I know you got a couple of opportunities that have kind of presented themselves as a result of the show. So good for you, and I can't wait to hear some good news soon or read about it out on Twitter.
Well, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate this platform and getting together with everybody and talking about our industry. It is very interesting to me, and I think the new 30 under 30 group will really bring our industry forward, and it's a good time. I appreciate being on the show.
Anytime. Brian, closing thoughts?
No, just a good show. Had some interesting people and got some good feedback on some little additions we were making to the search page. I had some fun with quite a lot of the people who came to see us.
The FCH sourcing network keeps getting better and it keeps expanding, and one of the main ways that happens, of course, Brian, is your good and hard work, but it also happens with the input of people that we talk to and meet and our members, and we thank all of you for stopping by our booth, those of you that did. And again, panel, thanks so much, and we'll see you all soon. And we will be right back with more Fully Threaded Radio.
Online Fastener Talk Radio. Hey, at least it kills time on long road trips. Fully Threaded Radio.
Where do you go when you need fasteners fast? Or a unique part that you can't live without? 3 words: Trinity Hardware Headquarters. You can easily find whatever you're looking for with our convenient online catalog that features over 30,000 different types of fasteners available in packaged quantities, product kits, and assortments. And now you can order over 2,000 of the most popular line items online 24/7, 365. Whether you're looking for standard inch and metric sizes or one of those hard-to-find parts, it's not hard to find at TrinityHardwareHQ.com. With over 400,000 square feet of warehouse space in locations throughout the Midwest and South, filled with over 18 million pounds of fasteners, Trinity Hardware Headquarters has exactly what you need. When you can't afford downtime, let Trinity Hardware Headquarters hold it together with the fasteners you need. Visit our website at www.trinityhardwarehq.com or call us at 888-232-1010. Trinity Hardware Headquarters, for parts done right.
For a selection of hundreds of thousands of fasteners, check out your local Fastenal store or Fastenal.com. We can stock domestic or internationally sourced product locally and keep your bin stock filled for you at no additional expense. We are a 9001-2008 certified company that's made a huge investment in quality control so you don't have to. And if you can't find it on our shelf, we can make it for you at the quantity you need at one of our many manufacturing facilities. Learn more by contacting your local Fastenal store or visiting Fastenal.com today.
Hi, this is Hugh Hewitt for the Injured Marine Semper Fi Fund, www.semperfifund.org. Over the past 7 years, twice a year, the wonderful people who operate the Semper Fi Fund and many amazing Marines who have been the beneficiaries of the charities that have supported the Semper Fi Fund, including many thousands of individual donors, have come into my radio studio to tell their amazing stories of serving their country, of being wounded, and how the Semper Fi Fund has helped them make that transition back to recovery. Unfortunately, Bethesda and Walter Reed are full again. More and more men and women are coming back from the war injured, sometimes awfully so. We need the Semper Fi Fund to be there for these Marines and those soldiers, sailors, and airmen who served alongside of them. Please consider a gift to the Semper Fi Fund. Very low overhead, extraordinary capacity to get money where it needs to get in a hurry, and great management, including some of the senior Marines who've ever served under the flag. When you're looking for something to do that will make an impact, please check out the Semper Fi Fund. That's www.semperfifund.org, www.semperfifund.org.
Hi, this is Rich Cavoda with Metric and Multi-Standard, and you're listening to Fully Threaded Radio live from the All-American Fastener Show in Branson, Missouri.
Well, that was fun. I forgot, I kept meaning. I wanted to ask Bob Baer if he's got any relationship to Max Baer. He, of course, the guy who played Jethro Bodine on the Beverly Hillbillies. Not sure.
Well, you can turn up at the Christmas do and ask him that, okay? Make sure you're not carrying a drink because he might not be offended by that question, actually.
Well, two people could not be more different than Bob Baer and Max Baer, or the character of Jethro Bodine, probably more accurately. But, it makes you wonder.
I never actually won.
And in case you were wondering, folks, during our last episode, we left the door open to the prospect that possibly Mr. Andy Pelz had screwbola, and that's why he wasn't attending the Vegas show. Well, he contacted me and let me know that, in fact, he's perfectly healthy. He's fine. There's no screwbola or Ebola on the horizon for him. So that's good news.
He just doesn't like talk radio anymore. Is that right?
Not sure about that. He's been a little hard to contact lately, but
right, definitely.
Good to know he's well. Speaking of which, during that whole fiasco, I found out that my iPhone on the spell check, it doesn't understand the word hemorrhagic.
Okay. Which spelling? God's spelling or the spelling that you might use, okay?
Well, it's very phonetic. I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason to iPhone spell check, and it seems like every time they release a new version, it changes. And simple words like you can type TGE in it, and it won't correct it. And then you put the most obscure word in there, and it screws it all up for you before you hit send.
Yeah. Actually, I found that the new iOS 8 is actually much better at that for me, okay? And it understands me better, which is a very pleasant relief because usually I talk into Siri and it's like I've talked to most people in shops and have done for 30 years. No one understands a word I say.
Oh, voice, yeah. Okay, well, I can understand that. So they've got an improved New Zealand filter then, is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, yeah. I would say
Texan New Zealand.
Yeah, Texan New Zealand filter. And now it sort of works better, okay? I mean, it was like being in the weekend. I'm thinking, no one else happens this. I was in Cosco asking someone where they have paper towels. Now, there's not that many ways you can say paper towels. No one understood me. I had 4 attendants, all working at Cosco, who were trying to say, well, we don't have paper towels. I said, you must have paper towels. What do they use them for? Well, you have them in the kitchen, and they're like a round roll, and then, you wipe your hands on them. And then someone said, "Oh, paper towels." I said, "That's what I've been saying, paper towels."
Unbelievable.
Yeah, just an ordinary weekly occurrence for me. Okay.
Well, Bry, I don't know what to tell you. They don't have any translators there either, so it's really not equal opportunity or something like that. You should have some kind of a cause for a lawsuit in this day and age. That's what I say.
Yeah, right.
Fortunately for us, our sponsors understand you, and they keep liking us, and the podcast keeps growing. So thank the sponsors of the show, and thank all the listeners for making that happen.
Correct.
We'll talk about a little story after we thank our sponsors explicitly on that. And the title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio are Stelfast, for service you deserve and people you trust. It's Stelfast. And Trinity Hardware Headquarters. Trinity, for parts done right. Other sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio are Buckeye Fasteners, Fastenal, Volt Industrial Plastics, Solution Industries, and now supporting the Fastener Training Minute, ND Industries. Our newest partner is InSequel Software, vendors of software made just for the fastener industry. I'd like to welcome them aboard on this episode. And, of course, the guests. I can't forget them. Today we had a conversation with, from Vertex Distribution, Mr. Mark Klosek and Dave Kjanek. Our panel of semi-all-stars to wrap up this year's Vegas show were Baer of Abbott Interfast, Laura Vath of Solution Industries, and the temporarily independent John Butler.
What about where did the semi part come from?
It's an annual event, Bry.
Oh.
Should ask me the first year. I would have explained it in detail, but we're almost out of time here.
Sorry.
As always, with the Fastener News Report, it was Mike McNulty. Great job on that back page report today, Mike. And also with the Fastener Training Minute, it was Carmen Vertullo. Thanks to y'all.
That's right.
You can get with us anytime at the email address ftr@fullythreaded.com. And we always enjoy hearing what you have to say about the show. And before we wrap up episode 88, I'd like to point out one story very briefly that came across. I think, Brian, you actually sent me a link to this. It was from New York Magazine. That's nymag.com. This is going back a while, but we'll put it on our Facebook page so you can access it if you're interested. And it has to do with podcasting and what they're calling the Great Podcast Renaissance.
Right.
Of course, caught our eyes immediately. They're suggesting that there's been a resurgence in podcasting, and that's good for us, and I think it's good for everybody, frankly, because I love on-demand media. And they're suggesting there might be a couple of reasons why this is happening. One of them, of course, is very interesting to us. Their first idea, though, or their thought, is that the podcasts today are simply better. So, obviously, it doesn't pertain to us.
Of course it does.
Got to kind of look at some of the other reasons. But among them, and this is apparently the real biggie, is what they're calling the drive time commuter, and the fact that more people are listening to podcasts in their cars. So because more cars are internet aware and more people are aware of podcasts to begin with, here's a statistic that I never realized, but this is kind of a mind blower, Bri. They think that about 44% of all radio listening takes place in the car.
Yeah, well, I'm not one of those people because I almost never turn my radio on in the car.
Yeah, well, you're always deep in thought thinking about writing some new program or something, but I don't know what I do without my Sirius, and apparently a lot of other people agree. Of course, you can plug your iPhone directly into the USB port on most cars today and listen to whatever you happen to be streaming or you have saved on your smartphone. So that's really cool. And all in all, I think that bodes well for the future of fully threaded radio. What do you think of that, Bri?
Yeah, well, it's good for us. Actually, I think one of the things they said in that article was that really still quite a large portion of people listen to these podcasts on their computers, not on any, phone or device like that at all.
Right. Well, there's a big chunk, obviously, that are not listening in cars because it's only 44%. But I guess that's kind of an area where people are changing over to podcasts from terrestrial radio, as they call it.
That we have to say that. Terrestrial radio, okay. If it's radio that extraterrestrial radio.
No extra involved.
Right.
So anyway, the whole ball of wax is kind of interesting to us because, of course, the more FTR listeners, the happier we are, and hopefully the happier they are. So thanks again, everybody, for listening, and the show keeps growing. And Brian, what were the odds of that?
Well, apparently pretty good.
Apparently so. Well, we'll close this one out the way we started it, and we'll thank you all for listening, everybody. That's going to put episode 88 of Fully Threaded Radio in the can.
Hey, so long, everybody. See you next episode, okay?
For Brian Musker, this is Eric Dudas. Get out there, sell some screws, listen to some podcasts, and we'll talk to you next time.
Fully Threaded Radio is a production of Fastener's Clearinghouse. Music provided by Audionautics.
Dun 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 dun.
Maybe we got through that.
Good job.